Some playing all the speakers when you walk around. It's magic.
They do a good job.
They do a good
I'll check into that.
Someone walks in the next day and thinks, listen, it's great. All right, thank y'all for coming. Big agenda today. It's we couldn't host this last week, and so it's a reschedule meeting we have today. We're short, but we have a quorum here, so we can proceed. The first item on the agenda, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, so all in favor of approving the agenda?
Aye.
All right. Secondly, we have a motion to approve the December 15th, 2025 and January 6th, 2026 meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We've just got a few recognitions we want to make today, and I think it goes without saying that after the leadership you provide, it's the people that you hire that really make this place a special place. And we have to tell our teachers, I think, and over the next couple of days, we get to brag on a lot of them. Tomorrow night, we have an event where we recognize the legacy of Hall of Fame teachers, and we'll recognize our teachers of the year. Today, we're going to recognize some teachers for some accomplishments they've made. They truly are the heart and soul of what our kids get to experience. Love to get to do this. I want to invite Sarah Paget to come up here. Sarah is the art teacher at Visitz Middle School, and actually she's more than that. She's here today because she has been selected as the Alabama Middle School Art Teacher of the Year. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How long have you been teaching?
5 years at Vestavia, but I went to Vestavia, so I feel like
Yeah.
I know it pretty well, but 6 years total.
Yeah, so I was somewhere around that period of time, 6 or 7 years ago, somebody very close to you said to me, "You need to meet my daughter. She's the best art teacher." I don't think we met.
I was probably teaching 6 months at this point.
Something.
She had no idea.
But she was a prophet, right? Correct. You're right. Yeah, so she must have had a lot of confidence in you, but this is a great achievement and very much worthwhile. I know Alicia's here as well. Anything you want to say?
I would just say she is an advocate for her kids, but also just for the profession. She's always leading the professional development at the state level. And she was leading all the PD this year when she got this award. It was a real surprise to her, so it was really fun and exciting. But kids love taking her class, and she's always doing all kinds of creative things. So.
Good. And I have to have a mold in the classroom
Oh, yeah.
who says the same thing, who affirms everything I just heard. Anything you want to say?
I'm just very grateful. I'm grateful to be at my alma mater, and I love what I do, and I hope that kind of just instills through my kids.
Well, I think we all recognize how important the arts are in our schools, and preserving that and really elevating is what we like to do, and that starts with great teachers. So congratulations, well deserved.
Thank you very much.
A couple of years ago, we started looking at a different way of supporting our teachers through professional growth. And, you can go through the teacher certification programs where you get a bachelor's and a master's and go all the way to the doctorate if you like. And there's another avenue that is a rigorous pathway to go as well, and it's through the National Board certification process. And we knew a couple of years ago that the number of our teachers that were National Board certified had dropped a little bit lower than we were comfortable, and we wanted to build that back up. So we started a cohort of about 30 teachers, Meredith, is that about right? To start this process. It's pretty rigorous. The ones that are here would tell you this is not a walk in the park, but they get it. It makes them be very reflective and also planning growth for themselves. And it really, I think, is a worthwhile process. I would hope they would all say that. But you have been supporting them. You have basically provided the funds for them to complete the process. And what that means for them now that they've received National Board certification is the state really awards them $5,000 additional each year on top of the salary they make, which is to me a testament of how important and valuable something like this is and how difficult it is to get there. It's just not so easy. So now we have how many in our system, current number?
Well, if everybody passes that, all the things they have to do, we are going to reach around 100 by the end of this year.
That's where we're at. That's our goal this year. That would be great to say. We have several that have completed this year. I'm not sure who all is here, but I'm gonna call, if you're here, I'll just come up, okay? But I'm gonna call everybody that we plan to see today. Becky Coulter from the Park Middle School. All right. Rachel Canine, say come on there, Rachel. Dolly Ridge, Mary Beth Healy from the Park Middle School. I got Shelby Franks from Cahaba Heights. Gemma Garcia, I don't think it's the best. Katie McCarthy, Board of Education. Nicole Sloan, see Nicole, from Baby Park Middle School. Hillary Wright, I've seen West, and Amanda White, Cahaba Heights. They represent a wide range to elementary teachers, we've got art teachers, secondary teachers, Board of Ed employees as well. So a wide range of folks that are working to do this. This is really quite the accomplishment. Anybody want to just briefly say, okay, what does it take to get to this point where you passed your boards? What have you been through? Don't use 4-letter words to start.
It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, we worked our tails off, wrote, read, and then wrote some more. So it's very tedious, but very worthwhile.
It's a high bar, and you reached it. It took a lot of effort to get there. And I want to tell you, Jennifer Brown is someone that retired employee with us that is a coach for the group, and I think you would probably agree with you how valuable that has been as well. to have her with us.
Yes,
So,
can't do it without her.
yeah, she helps us with the process, but truly outstanding work, and I'm really proud to have this number. We'll keep bringing more for you to see what they're doing. I appreciate you doing it, appreciate you putting the time and effort in it. It's a token of our appreciation that we like to give. It's a
Thank you.
coin with our school system logo on it. And wish you all the best. Anything board members you want to say?
I'd like to say something just from the standpoint, today, was, I guess, what do they call it? Where students can go out and be with different occupations. Yeah, job shadow day or something like that. So we had some students come to our firm and, students just going all across the community shadowing people. But it makes me think that people that want to be teachers, they get the perfect shadow every day from you guys. And what you guys with continuing learning like you're doing is, it just proves to us where we just hire leaders, and that's what y'all are. And for y'all's pursuit and dedication to continue learning and the example you're showing our students every day, we just sincerely appreciate. And they could have no better shadow day than every day with you guys. So thank y'all very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on through with our agenda. First is financial statement for you. Everyone, you are welcome to stay. I always want to give you an out here if you need it. You got a thing to do. We'd love to have you, but understand if you need this for out.
Thanks, Will.
All right. Well, what a way to clear a room. Good afternoon, board members. I have provided the December 31st, 2025 financial statements and check register for your review. As of December 31, we have collected 16.1% of our budgeted ad valorem tax revenues compared to 15.2% at this time last year. And during December, we earned $62,135 in interest income from our investment and treasury sweep account. This is down a little because of our lower cash position months from October to December, but we're picking back up in January with our local property tax collections coming in strong. In December, our general fund expenditures and transfers out are 24.8% of our budget compared to 26.8% last year. So all things being equal, we should be at 25% of our budgeted expenditures in the third month of our fiscal year. And as of December 31, 2025, all bank accounts have been reconciled and the monthly reports have been submitted to the Alabama State Department of Education. And monthly financial statements and check registers are available on our website for public viewing.
Board members, I recommend approval of the financial statement for December 2025.
Board members, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the financial statement for December 2025 and the board bank accounts that have been reconciled through December 2025. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Item 6 is consent items, and I recommend approval of those consent items, which are field trips that are out of state and in-state overnight.
Board members, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the consent items for out-of-state and in-state overnight field trips. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Under business, first item is the budget amendment, and I'm going to recommend approval of budget amendment number 1.
Board members, you've heard Dr. Freeman's recommendation to approve the budget amendment number 1. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second. Board members, I want to just give you a quick briefing of what this is, or access according to. We get usually one of these, sometimes 2 in a year, but generally 1 budget amendment. just an explanation of what those line items are.
Sure, so the first budget amendment is required in January by the state. It's primarily to true up our prior year ending fund balance that we closed FY '25 with, because when we were doing the budget, we were just estimating what we thought we were gonna end with. So, we actually trued that up. It was a little less than where we thought we would have ended at 9/30/25. So we adjusted the budget for that, and then we had some additional state allocations that came in after the budget was submitted to the state, which is a normal thing that happens every year. Some of our, reading camp funds and numeracy act and, assessments, things like that, that come in after the fact. So, it really just changed our budget slightly, probably about $700,000, but that's really due to truing up the beginning fund balance. But we're still still gonna end with about a 2-month reserve.
And those line items are really designated and itemized to go into
For
particular
very
things.
specific
So
purposes.
there's not a lot of discretion, those dollars are specific, but I appreciate you showing which line item in the general fund budget they belong to. So, any questions on
Any questions? All in favor of the approval of budget amendment number 1?
Item B, recommendation to approve the changes to the descriptions for professional development days for the 26-27 school calendar.
Board members, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation to approve the changes to the descriptions for professional development days for the 2026-2027 school calendar. Do I hear a motion?
So.
All in favor?
Yes.
Excuse me, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay,
All right.
now,
Only comment I'll make on this is the calendar's not changing, the labeling of the days.
I
is
called him
changing.
right away, wait a
Yes.
second.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
he
so,
called me.
Yeah, just the name of what we call professional development days. Teacher work days are still in as they are. It's just some nuances to the names themselves. So, yeah, thank you for that.
but I do have a question. So the school calendars, they are already been approved for the next 2
Yeah.
years?
We have 26-27 approved and 27-28. Dr. Arundel will be chairing the group that will bring to you in April the 28-29. So we'll try to stay 2 years ahead, because imagine that, that's not a way of planning. So we're 2 years out right now.
Now, all in favor for the recommendation to approve the professional development days?
Right. Item C is a recommendation to approve resolutions for the Educator Hall of Fame.
Board members, you've heard Dr. Freeman's recommendation to approve resolutions for the Educator Hall of Fame. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I do want to just note for the evening that we are recognizing these inductees Hall of Fame tomorrow evening, 6:30. This is rescheduled from last week as well, and really looking forward to that. And I do want to acknowledge the resolutions are for 4 distinguished educators with us that represent 83 years of combined experience in our school system. Marilee Dukes, who will be with us tomorrow night, and family and friends, and she was a debate coach for a number of years. Frederick Jones, who taught social studies in middle school, has been recognized. Carolyn Lytle, who taught elementary grades, reading coach as well, I think at one point, and then Mary Bice Williams, high school. I believe that's right. Yeah, elementary, sorry, I got confused. So Mary Bice Williams as well. So 4 educators that are chosen by a committee. WIT is a part of that, and the committee gathers applications each year, and then they vet those. And these 4 emerged as the candidates for this year. So I thought they did a really nice job. And their families will be with us tomorrow night. Look forward to celebrating.
And the families too, or some of them anyway, their spouses were also part of the system. And so
That's right.
particularly Mr. Jones, his wife Brownie, who was my counselor at the high school back in the day. So anyway, it's going to be a big evening, and for all those that can make it. It's a cool thing, and really people that help lay the foundation to what we have now. It's a neat thing we did.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you. Board members, I'm going to move to personnel, recommend the approval of personnel items submitted.
Board members, you've heard Dr. Freeman's recommendation to approve the personnel items as submitted. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you. Board members, I want to ask Meredith Henson Wedgeworth to come up and share a report with you in the spirit of highlighting our teachers in this meeting and tomorrow night. We like to do this each year just to talk about things that are happening with our teachers and really to just display some of the ways that you support as a board through our budget process, the teachers' growth and development in our schools. So thank you guys, appreciate it. Thank you.
Brooke and I were saying if anybody would like to go, you're welcome to. Courtney made a good trip and they just. Good afternoon. Thank you, everybody, for being here for what is an absolute pleasure to talk about, an easy thing to talk about, and that is our teachers here. All the principals and APs that are here and directors would say we do have the easiest job, and the fact that we get to highlight exactly who's the heart and soul of what we do every day, and that is our teachers. I get asked a lot of times, like, why do people move to Vestavia? What's the draw to Vestavia? And I simply say it's the school systems. We have great restaurants, we have a little bit of shopping, but most people come here for the school system and what has been developed here over many, many years. So, and just kind of setting this up for you, I had the privilege of spending the day with Dr. Freeman and the class of LVH this year. And it was a neat opportunity to watch the LVH class, who are leaders in our community, watch our teachers that day. And the talk afterwards was so much about, gosh, I didn't know they did this, or I didn't know they were having to do this, or, and they're also teaching tech standards. And so it was an eye-opening day, I think, to a lot of our leadership in our city to be able to see what our teachers do and how special they are. And I would include our administrators and all that as well, who support them so much. So that was a good day to sit and talk with people about who we are. We talk about writing our own story, and that is what we continue to do in our school system. All right, I'm going to step out here just a little bit with this one because there's a glare. So our school system, and we keep in front of us all the time our goals and what we're working for, because if you don't have goals, you can get sidetracked with all the things that come throwing at you in education. But our first goal is the student experience, which I think is a really cool thing to talk about, especially when we talk about our teachers, because the experience comes down to the teachers and what they do. That goal states that we are going to create a student-centered environment where excellence, curiosity, and resilience drive both academic achievement and personal growth. So I pulled 3 words out of that. I think is very obvious. Excellence, curiosity, and resilience. Those are 3 hard things to talk about dealing with K-12, because there are all the different things that they're experiencing and all the different times they need resilience. And when you think about truly creating curiosity in the classroom and how difficult and trained you must be as a professional to do that in teaching. And then all of our goals always are going to be about excellence. That's what this district expects. That's what our community expects. And that's what we put in front of our teachers. And they know that we do expect when we hire them, and they work for us, excellence all the time. That message will never go away. And we speak it too often. Okay, and the second one is employee engagement. So you have the student experience and employee engagement working hand in hand together as it should be. And our employees are committed to a culture of elite professionalism and collaboration. And we've done a lot of talking about what exactly we think elite professionalism is. It's a little bit of a lot of things to everybody. But one thing I started thinking about today is that if we are collaborating and we have teamwork going on, that is certainly elite professionalism. As we know how the world works today, collaboration is just part of what we do. No longer in education do you close your doors. Well, you better not, because we love you all working together. But closing the doors and doing my own thing and not sharing and not comparing and those things. We have built a culture in our school system with the leadership that we have where collaborative work is expected. And it's really not going to be the right place if you can't collaborate, because you have got experts in our school system. And so many smart people and creative people that if we're not getting in the room together and doing collaborative teamwork, we're missing out on it. And so that's why it's an absolute must with our administrators and other leadership that we do that. And so that is part of elite professionalism to me. I could list you a lot of other things that we have defined as elite professionalism, but I thought I would just put these two together as we talk today about that. So that shows, yearly we'll show you our class sizes, and they are always amazing, the class sizes here. When I talk to other people, when I go recruiting, they really can't believe it, and they hope I don't show it and all the things, because it gets the attention of many teachers that are coming to look for new places or brand new teachers. So just quickly, you can read, but kindergarten 14.5, first grade 16.6. Second, 17.1, 18.2 at third, 21.4 at fourth, and 19.5 at fifth. So for a strong school system like ours, this starts to build as it should be, and I think our numbers are exactly where the expectation of our community is. Now, what I would like to mention as we continue, we'll talk about the older grades, is we use every allotted amount of money that we get for our teaching staff. What makes those numbers the way they are is the community and the decisions that are made by the leadership and the board, and is that we have 114 locally funded units. And locally funded units means what it means. Our board and Dr. Freeman, they work together to say, we need this amount of staff to make sure that this gets done correctly. And so we don't get money from the state from that. We do that. We do that because we have excellence. So you get to the high school. There we go at LPMS with an average of 20, Pizzitz with an average of 21, the freshman campus at 19, and the high school at 21. Now those can differ in different classes. I don't want to say that we might not have some classes a little bit bigger than what that looks like, but if you do the average, that's what it is. I mean, I would just like to say that if other school systems are tuning in, all the 50 school systems that are tuning into this right now, right, with, if they see these numbers, if they knew these numbers, they would come running. Just an example, in 1994 in a small town in Dalton, Georgia, I had 38 eighth graders in the classroom and was expected to get it done. So it's just amazing that we can provide our teachers with this opportunity to have room to grow and grow resilience, do the personal growth, the curiosity and the excellence. Now this really speaks to our teachers and their excellence. Our teachers don't stop, they keep learning. And I would say that about this group and everybody around us. We have, right now, we show that we have the 68 National Board certified teachers. You met some of the new ones tonight. We are continuing to grow that number, and we do have, we would like to see 100 as soon as possible as we work. There's so many steps to that. One of the things they didn't mention, Tara was saying read and write and read and write. They have to video themselves teaching all the time. And if you've ever videoed yourself to study your practice, it's just kind of hard, I will just tell you that. But it's absolutely best practice to do that. When you video yourself and you're looking for the mistakes or the things that you're not doing, like calling on certain students you're not doing on purpose, or you're calling on all the boys, or these are the things you start learning when you video yourself. And as much as our teachers care when they see those things, they're going to write them down and they're going to improve in that area. So that's what the National Board Certification is. I have not been involved with that, but I've heard it's brutal and it makes you so much better. So I appreciate our teachers that go out on the line and do that. Our bachelor's degrees, I'm going to go through the degrees that we have with all of our staff. Our bachelor's degrees sit about 145. A lot of those would be probably our brand new teachers, just because it starts becoming the rite of passage here in Vestavia that you go do the next step. And that would be to our master's degree, which is 66% of our staff has a master's degree. So again, that proves excellence in our teachers. They are teaching all day, they are planning all night, and then they go to school inside. Okay, and then our specialist degree, we've got 8% with a specialist degree. Going further than that, though, we would talk about our doctorate degrees at 3%. When you get into a specialist degree and a doctorate degree, what I would like to see on that is most of the time, not all the time, that those people are headed towards leadership positions when they start. We have plenty of teachers that have their doctorate, but that's why the percentage may look like they do, because they're headed towards some type of leadership position. These are the things that we call our specialized instructional support, and I'm very proud, and I know everybody is, of the work that has been done with this. So we have interventionists. We have 10 in our school system that understand the children, the child that they're working with, and does exactly what it says, intervene in a way to, whether it's to catch them up, help them with a certain skill. It is not homework. It is not catch up, like just catching up with your homework. It is true instruction. We have our certified academic language therapist, which is CALT. We have 6 of those. Brooke, can you speak to that? You can speak to CALT better than I can. If you can just.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is really an intensive training that some of our teachers have chosen to participate in. So this usually takes place over a period of 2 years. Again, somewhat similar to National Board. They're in professional learning sessions. Lots of times the way ours set up, they're on like Saturdays throughout a couple weeks in the summer. They have lots of material to study. Within that, they're taking tests. They finish with an exam at the end, and then they also have to devote many hours actually using the intervention program. So it's a very intensive program. Some of our people, which I know Kim has that, she's certified, but in most cases, it's either one of our EXO teachers or interventionist. So they're using Take Flight or basic language skills and using that for intervention, either with kids with dyslexia or with characteristics of dyslexia.
Thank you. We have instructional partners, which we refer to as IPs often, and that is another person in the building that they've been interviewed and vetted very much to be kind of the side, right here to the side of the admins and helping with professional development in the building, helping nurture our teachers, work beside them in lessons, that when they also, they will watch lessons and give improvement or add things to the lesson. So it's a lot of PD, instructional type things, working beside our administrators with instructional partners. Teams, which we have all these acronyms and teams, but these are our science and our math teachers, 6th through 12th, that we have 51 teams teachers. Now it's a big deal for our teams teachers because the state provides them, or they're provided with a little extra money because math and science is hard to find now in teaching. And so that's why a lot of our teachers are team teachers with 51. We have right now 2 local math coaches, but that might change soon with the math coaches. And our local reading specialists, we have 5. So those coaches and specialists, again, dig deep into our elementary reading and math and just work wonders with our kids. So that's a lot to be proud of right there. A lot of work, a lot of hard work by our teachers. So we wanted to feature just the things they do, just beyond what you guys know, teaching. So that's a picture of that.
And I'll add a side note to that. So our interventionist and certified academic language therapist work specifically with students. So they're providing intervention. Our instructional partners, local math coaches, and local reading specialists work directly with teachers. So their role really is to coach, support our teachers so they can then be better educators for our students. Our local math coaches and reading specialists are primarily funded by the state, but you can see we have instructional partners and academic interventionists, which are funded locally. So that was just something we knew even years ago that we really needed to fund and how crucial that could be to our students. So we'll go a little bit more into professional learning, and I think this ties, right in with what we were talking about tonight, honoring our National Board certified teachers. Is our first goal is to hire the best, but then we know we really have to support them and help them grow professionally if we really want them to be the best and to continue with us. So one of the things that we do as a district is the induction and boarding process, and that starts with Rebel Academy in the summer, which is 3 days of training for our new teachers. And then we also have a mentoring program in place, and that starts with one-on-one mentors for our new teachers, as well as support throughout years 1, 2, and 3 that are school-based. And our instructional partners are a huge part of that. As we move into instruction, you can see we have professional learning teams. So that's where teams work together at the schools to really continue to look at how they can improve instruction and how they can do that for each student. Each school has an instructional model which highlights what should instruction in our schools look like. We participate in instructional rounds. And when you think about rounds in the medical aspect, ours is fairly similar where we are going in and really examining practices in the classrooms. How can we learn from each other? And then how do we take that to improve as a school and a district? So our secondary, some of our secondary teachers have participated in rounds across the district now. We're on our second year of that, and elementary has started with the team this year. We also have instructional rounds and learning walks going on at each of our schools. And then our strategic priorities really for this school year are math and tiered instruction. So tiered instruction is what does instruction look like for all of our students? What does that look like when students need some targeted intervention? And then what does it look like when they need some intensive intervention? And the last thing is a focus on leadership and culture. And I think it's important. When we talk about leadership here, we're talking about our administrators, but it's also about growing our teachers as leaders as well. So we have our Hope Leadership Academy, which continues our focus on character and core values. We have professional learning sessions for our administrators and our aspiring administrators. So that might be teachers who have an admin certification. And then we also have mentoring for our principals. So that's something that's now part of through the state, so they have other principals who mentor them or past principals, but then we also have Jennifer Brown who's working with our assistant principals. Some other specialized trainings and opportunities that we've had, and some of these have been even going on for years, but we have letters, which you can see what that stands for up there. That is a program that is actually funded through the state of Alabama. It's nationally known, but really it's about the science of reading. So helping our teachers improve their knowledge to really be better teachers of reading and spelling. And we have many teachers who have participated and completed this. Again, this is a 2-year program. So they're involved in many days of professional learning. After each unit, they have to take a test. And then at the end, they have a test as well as like work that they put in place in their classrooms. We have OGAP, which is currently going on. We started that or renewed the focus on that this year. And that's the ongoing assessment project. Again, it's about how do we continue to improve math instruction and what it looks like for each of our students. So we're doing that with additive and multiplicative for all of our elementary math teachers. And then phonics first, which again is training on how we teach phonics and what that should look like for kindergarten through 3rd grade. This year we've had a focus on science implementation. So all of our science teachers have been implementing new standards and working with new curriculum. So we've had training around that, which started last summer. We've started social studies standards work, which we started, I guess, really last spring, looking at the new social studies standards, unpacking those, and now we're looking at curriculums to support those. We have Rebel Innovation, which is an opportunity for employees to apply and receive funding for an innovative idea that they may have at their schools. And then the last area to continue improving, like I mentioned, we have learning walks and instructional rounds going on in our schools. And we have an elementary design team which started this year. And they just really, it's almost like a leadership team that helps continue all of this going on in their schools, supporting their team members, and also looking at grading and reporting. So they'll be meeting actually again this week. And then summer professional learning. So this highlights some of the opportunities and sessions that actually happened to us last summer. We had over 353 of our teachers participate in the summer. And I think that's important to highlight is because people think, okay, the summer's already short. They think, oh, teachers are just sitting around doing nothing. And we know that's really not the case, especially not with our teachers. So many of them are at the schools or they are participating in professional learning all throughout the summer. So as you can see on the right side, these are some of the opportunities that we offered in the summer. And then on the left side, we have DIYs, which is design it yourself. So teachers are able to apply in the spring. They submit an application, and if approved, then they decide what they want their learning session to look like in the summer, and they lead it. And so these are just some of the groups or areas that met and worked this summer. So you can see it was across elementary, secondary, all areas. And they did wonderful work this summer. So we'll continue to offer that opportunity this summer.
So just a little bit on teacher wellness. If you see all that they do, they need some wellness, right? They gotta take care of them in some way, somehow. And this has been a huge discussion, I would say, ever since COVID, how we take care of our teachers. And actually, our teachers ask, how can you help take care of us? And so, we battled with how to do that. You could do gym membership, like $5 off or whatever, but with some research and some studying and having conversations with other districts, what we landed on is really we're all expected for our own wellness, right? At the end of the day, I can't make you go to the gym, or I can't make you call a counselor, or whatever those things may be. So the State Department went back to a model that they even used in the 80s, and it really clicked with me of something to share with our administrators to hopefully at some point share with their teachers, and we've had a lot of conversations about it. And so it's the PERMA model. So to explain that to you quickly, that there has to be some positive going on in your life, that you have to think about positive. You have to find joy and gratitude. And for us, that is in your daily teaching, or your daily time with students, or your daily time with teachers and what we do. So the second would be engagement. Research shows that if you're fully engaged in what you're doing and you're absorbed in what you're doing, that you are, you naturally go home to your family and all the different things that happen after work with more joy and more energy. And so engagement is very, very important in all the things we do in the school system, but it also is towards our wellness. Relationships, which I'm a huge believer on, building connections with students and teachers and everybody that is involved in this system working together, that if you have good, healthy relationships at work and other places, that brings you some of this educator, the wellness part that you need, and that there has to be meaning and purpose. If there's no meaning and purpose, then I think that is one of the things, as I've read a lot about wellness, if the meaning and the purpose part, if that falls apart, that's when I think we see our teachers that they're just tired, they can't find the meaning anymore, and it's maybe just time to retire or whatever it may be. And then accomplishment, what we try to talk to our administrators about is it's okay to celebrate yourself sometimes because you do really good things as teachers and principals and educators. So take time to reflect on the good things you've done, because often we go to the bad things or the things that have gone wrong, or we disappointed this parent. But there needs to be a lot of time spent on, but man, you've won 28 kids over, and you've led a school through an instructional round, or whatever that means. So take some time in your mind to be mentally secure with yourself and the accomplishments that you do every day. And then I wanted you to know, I don't know how much you know this, but we do have a Support Link EAP program, which this is something that every single one of our employees has access to. So the Support Link is the company that we use and we partner with in our well-being. We've talked a lot about that. I've worked hard on this because I get the reports, and we just at some point we just didn't have a lot of people using this. A lot of people are scared that, or they think that it's just counseling is so much deeper than that. And so a lot of people that never had accounts have accounts now. And I've been seeing our numbers go up. So that's great to me. This does much more than just mental health counseling. work-life balance support, financial and legal guidance, crisis intervention service, wellness resources, and it goes on and on and on. It's a very put-together website that our teachers, all of us have together to support whatever the needs are at the time. I guess in ending, I hope you see how proud we are of our teachers. And often people ask me, how do we find these teachers? And, a lot of them just come to us because of what we have together built as an amazing community. There are recruiting efforts, a lot of recruiting efforts for those teachers. And so we're represented all the recruiting fairs and all that. But, a lot of times it's teachers meeting people, it's people sending resumes, we will meet with probably 60 to 80 people during the spring and try to send them to principals. And so it's our reputation that gets us the best of the best. And we will continue to work on that with all that you've seen today.
Really appreciate that too, guys. Thank y'all for the report. I want to add one note to the conversation that they presented in terms of providing support for our teachers. And I think when you talk about unparalleled community support, I think that is maybe an understatement in our community. What our support partners do, what our families do, community in general. But just recently, our foundation allocated about $160,000 of teacher grants that go to the classroom, or they go to support professional development. Those are added things that really create more value, I think, for our teachers. Our PTO over the course of this year will be several $100,000 that will go into our classrooms or into our schools for various reasons. Those are like invaluable type ways that our partners join us in this work. And so when they do things like the foundation has doing Diamonds later this month, when they do events like the Penny Drive from last week, or some of the schools are now having some spring or winter type events. I think you had one Friday night, Dollar Ridge I know did. There's a lot of that happening and that money is making its way back into the classroom. So supporting our teachers through PTO Foundation is something I think is also really important to acknowledge. There's an event later this spring that Rotary is going to be doing that will be a celebration of the 250th birthday of our nation, where they're going to have a debate. Our debate students at the high school will be doing a debate, and that's going to be an opportunity to support our debate program, which goes back again into the classroom. So every time you turn around, you can find ways that our community is stepping in and saying, we want to help make the classroom experience great and support our teachers. So really just, I think, quite impressive the work that happens outside the walls of our schools. So I just want to put that out as well. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the report.
Dr. President, if I may, I would like to make a comment from my personal standpoint on what is so impressive to me about what we've just witnessed. And I'm gonna make this short. Nancy and I moved up here in 1968, and Vestavia Hills did not have a school system. And the issue in 1968 and 69 was, let's form our own school system because we want to have excellence, just like our goals are, just like the information up here. And the point I want to make is people that lived in we formed our system April 30, 1970. And before that time, people that lived in our city went to build school, Vestavia Hills Junior High School. Imagine that. In the Cindy School, Vestavia Hills Elementary. And the straw that broke the camel's back was that the pupil-teacher ratio in those schools was 45 students to one teacher. 45 students in a classroom. Can you imagine that, Jim? And now I look up there and I see 14 in kindergarten and 16 in the first grade. And all I can say is it was a struggle to get us started from a legal standpoint. And I wish Judge Sebring Lynn and Judge Sam Horner could see the numbers on the ball. 14 for kindergarten and 16 for first grade. Great job, ladies.
And Meredith and Brooke, don't sell yourself short. You are doing incredible work and not only recruiting teachers, but retaining teachers and just the support and the due diligence, everything that goes with it. We really appreciate and the teachers appreciate. And, thank you for your just incredible service you provide.
Meredith, you left something off I wanted to share that you shared with the LVH class, which is just how simple like a thank you means so much. And to your point, I think we do live in a society where people most often hear negative feedback, or certainly that's what they internalize and remember. So just even a thank you note or stopping a teacher or an administrator and saying thank you, I feel like that was something I took away from that conversation, but also feel like we need to do more just in life in general, like appreciating people and telling them when you think, wow, they did such a great job. I want to say thank you or congratulate them or whatever. And so that was what I heard from you. I mean, our wellness and just the sense of value and appreciation that we get through just a simple thank you. And I think that you do that, all of you in this room do, because people want to work in your buildings, but just wanted to share that because that was something that resonated with me.
And I guess to the principals as well. I mean, the teams, staff, everything y'all put together is, as Meredith says, it recruits itself and just, it's infectious and people outside these walls, it's envious to people. And so just for y'all not taking it for granted, but continuing to take it to the next level, it's just, it brings pride. Obviously, you can see the pride that Professor Boone over there has, but I have it in so many people that have grown up in this community that helped start the community, but then to see it flourish, we thank you. We really did. All right, before we adjourn, we had over the weekend, this track, I think, had some really cool results. The girls finished second, I think, runner up. Then basketball team had a big victory Friday night, and so there's some games this week. And then the playoffs, the tournament will be the following week. So big winter months coming in. It's not the doldrums, but it's excitement in our school system. So everybody come out and support the Rebels. And with all that said, does anyone have any public comment? I don't think anyone's here for public comment. So with that, we will adjourn our meeting. Thank you.